Fresh wind, my eyes set on the horizon, hardly a person in sight. Just my riding instructor Anna and I. Amazing. Here on the Baltic coast, horseback riding on the beach is only allowed between October and April. Hi everyone, I'm Nicole Frilly from DW Travel and I'm on the Fischland das Zingst Peninsula. It has long beaches, wild forests and tiny fishing villages. And today I'm going to show you all of it. Fischland das Zingst is a peninsula framed by the Baltic Sea on one side and a saltwater lagoon called a Bodden on the other. In the colder months, the sandy beaches are completely empty. Perfect for those who, like me, are looking for tranquility and nature. In winter, the waves and the wind are slightly more wild, creating ideal conditions for a little treasure hunt. Every Thursday, Martin Hagemann shows locals and tourists how to find amber along the shoreline. This stretch of coastline is famous for it.
So I've brought the range of colors to show you. This one would probably appeal to everyone. Transparent orange or yellow. But they don't have to be transparent. Some have a milky appearance. Yellow milky or orange milky, right through to the nice red tones. Or whitish and really white, which you can see at the top here. Looking at it, you can believe it's amber, but with a white bit at the top. But if I just showed you that bit, you'd think it was old chewing gum. But no, that's amber too. So how do you know if it's amber? The most reliable method is the saltwater test. You put everything you found into a glass and fill it with water. The amber stays at the bottom. Stir in a dessert spoon of salt, and anything that's amber will float. Easy as that.
Amber is not actually a stone, but was formed from the resin of trees and fossilized over millennia. But no matter how hard I try, I can't find even the tiniest fragment. This is not my lucky day.
That's roughly the size that you find these days.
Unfortunately, it's our only find today. What could I have done better? What should I keep an eye out for? Seaweed, shells?
Seaweed preferably not. The decisive thing is driftwood, those dark wood pieces that sink when you throw them back into the sea. This kind of wood has roughly the same density as amber, so there's a good chance that amber will be there too. But I always encourage people to enjoy the walk on the beach and keep their eyes peeled at the same time. You might find an adder stone or a fossil. It's just so good to be out walking on the Baltic coast and then pick up a little gem while you're at it. Then you've got the right combination.
True, then it's a great experience. While the others keep searching, I hop on a bike to the northernmost part of the peninsula, Dasa Ort. My trip takes me through a wild and unspoiled forest in the heart of the Western Pomerania Lagoon Area National Park. No cars allowed around here. The lighthouse is iconic. It's the oldest of its kind still in use along the Baltic Sea coast. The 120 steps up to the platform help me warm up. When the weather is right, you can see all the way to Denmark from here. A great view. I continue on to the town of Arendshoop. The beautiful sandy beaches here enchanted visitors even over 100 years ago. At the end of the 19th century, the search for freedom and a more simple life brought many artists to Ahrenshoop. They felt drawn to the small village by this particular light and the landscape, and it went on to inspire them for decades. Painter Paul Müller-Kempf was among the first artists to settle here. He's considered one of the founders of the Ahrenshoop Artists Colony. But there were many others who fell in love with this place. Anna Gerresheim, Hans-Emil Oberländer, Hugo Jekyll, Elisabeth von Eycken, and many other artists. They built a creative environment that, even during the war, offered them refuge to create, to paint, and to write. Their legacy is still alive. To this day, artists and art aficionados come to the small town, and if you're lucky, you might get to watch one of the current artists at work. Rainer Dörner is famous around these parts. The 85-year-old is a graphic artist, a painter, and sculptor. He worked as a sign painter in former communist East Germany and came to Ahrenshoop often in his youth. In 1992, he moved here for good. Just like his colleagues from back in the 19th century, he's inspired by the surroundings. Can you understand that people were fascinated by the atmosphere here?
Yes. You always read that they were inspired by the atmosphere in the fall. And I'm always inspired too when I see the autumn sky. That's so unique here on the peninsula. The cloud formations are so clear and different every time, different shapes. You could just paint the sky, the shapes, and that would already be a picture. And you definitely feel inspired by looking at it. And that was what moved the artists back then too.
Now I'm off to the former fishing village Prerow. Back in the 19th century, this place was almost exclusively home to seafarers and their families. That's long ceased to be the case, but the town's maritime past has left a colorful mark in the shape of these doors. I want to check out the shop where these ornate doors have been manufactured for 200 years. René and Dirk Roloff come from a family of woodworkers. Their great-grandfather designed doors and gables for the area. And the two brothers are continuing the family tradition. Do the doors have a special symbolism? Is it a way to show off what you have and where you've been?
Yes, the doors aren't just for decoration. They need to protect the house, letting in the good and keeping out evil. There are symbols like scaly patterns designed to look like armor. The idea was to stop evil crossing the threshold of the house. There are bunches of tulips that you see on many old doors. They're seen as a symbol for the tree of life. Then on nearly all the doors you have the sun, often as a semicircle, which is a rising sun, seen as something positive. So you have these age-old, somewhat superstitious symbols that are hidden in the designs.
How has this symbolism evolved? Do people still seek out the same ornaments, or do they want other motifs? Has this superstition evolved?
Oh, it still exists. We still produce these symbols. There's one against lightning strikes that's very popular. It clearly works, as we've had no complaints.
That's important with a thatched roof.
Right. If they burn, you have a problem. But there are also new motifs linked to the coast and to Das. We often paint cranes, for example, a popular local bird, or windswept trees. They aren't traditional, but they have their own symbolism. Cranes are linked to good luck, so it fits with the tradition.
I know you usually don't let amateurs touch your work, but could I try it out? Maybe on a bit of spare wood?
Yes, we've started a few cranes. We can give it a go.
All right, let's do it.
Give it a try.
Okay. More pressure here?
That's right. Rest your left hand on the surface and move to the side.
I recommend having a good breakfast before doing this.
The carpenters even sell souvenirs with a lovely selection of miniature doors. Thanks.
A little piece of Darst tradition for my home in Berlin.
To wrap up my visit, I want to explore the eastern tip of the peninsula. For that, I'm joined by former ranger Friedemann Bartz. We dive deep into the Western Pomerania Lagoon Area National Park. Here, where the Baltic meets the lagoon waters, the untouched nature shows its most serene and peaceful side. We climb Hohe Düne, the High Dune, a very sensitive biotope and off-limits to hikers and explorers.
So, Nicole, this is the Pramort High Dune, one of the highlights here in the national park. It's the largest white dune field on the German Baltic Sea coast, and it's an unparalleled gem, impressive and fascinating. The dunes in the background are up to 13 meters tall, beautiful, and the sea with the waves, deep blue, a one-of-a-kind landscape.
My day on the peninsula is coming to an end. Too soon. Wind, waves, and white sand. The Fischland Darß Peninsula is a true paradise for travelers. In the summer, it's perfect for swimming and surfing, and in the wintertime, you can hop on a horse or simply enjoy the wilderness. A great spot any time of the year. And if you had as good a time as I did, click here to subscribe.